All right, here we go. My name is Will Moss. I'm the founder and CEO of HBCU Connect. Super excited to have you all join us for our next session at the HBCU Connect Fall Conference and Career Fair. Our next speaker is Dom Walker from United Airlines. He's going to be speaking on breaking barriers, building resumes, and achieving career goals with non-traditional majors, presented by Beacon. So, Dom, if you're ready, I'm going to hand it over to you to start the presentation.
We're ready. And just first off, Will and Doug, just thank you for your partnership and thank you all that you do for the HBCU community. We do cherish this partnership and we're very, very invested in the HBCU world. We do many of great things, but thank you for having us today. Looking forward to a great session, just sharing how to just build resumes to make you just a winning candidate and also talk about achieving career goals with non-traditional majors. Now, as you can see here, presented by Beacon, you may think about like, what is Beacon and who is Beacon? Well, Beacon is United's business resource group here for the Black culture here at United, and what it simply stands for is Black excellence amplified continuously within our network. So for me, just my 5 to 9 voluntary job here at United, I am on the executive board for Beacon as the external talent chair. So some of the fun things I get to do here at United. But as myself, I'll quickly just transition to the next slide. One, I want to give you all just a deep dive into what we'll be speaking to today, and then I'll transition to just a quick introduction to who am I, and then also get into our great speaker, who would be Saba Katrina Russ. Now, what we'll cover is a quick welcome intro into United. We'll hear from Miss Saba Katrina on just her background as from going from a teacher to a leader in analytics, and then early career foundation, her just showcasing her transferable skills, and then we'll transition into the resume writing mindset, how to keyword your resume using those transferable skills, resume branding, and then everything else that goes into your resume. And then towards the end, we'll save time for a Q&A session. Now, to kick things off, here's your crew today. So you have again Saba Katrina Russ, who's our data analytics manager, and she'll get into her background shortly. And then you have me, the senior manager over talent partnerships. To quickly introduce myself and who I am to United, I've been with the organization for over 3 years now. I had quite the fun since I've been here. I've held multiple roles in the past three years and 4 months, I believe. I began my career at United as the senior recruiter of finance. Within 5 months, I was promoted to the manager of strategic sourcing. From there, after a year and some change, I was promoted once more to the senior manager of executive recruitment. And then after a year, here I am now in a new position as the senior manager over talent partnerships here at United. So, as I would tell anyone about the organization, is that it is one company with many career destinations here. And not only myself, Saba Katrina is also living that proof as well. So it's a great organization. But it wouldn't be a true United feel if we didn't give you all a quick sizzle reel. So in the next slide, hopefully you all can hear it and can see it. We'll do a quick sizzle reel and then we'll keep everything going as far as just transition to the session today. And let's see if it plays. And there we go.
You're going to like this story because it's about you. When does it start? With a flight time that works for you and him. Where does this story take place? Destinations far, far, far away, or ones you used to call home. And if you need to rewrite it, there's no fee to change your flight. Where should we go next? Well, that's up to you. Because when we built the world's biggest airline, we built it around you.
Cool. And that's our quick tagline of good leads the way, and a quick sizzle reel about United. Hopefully that got you excited about today's session and potentially having a career opportunity with United as well. Now, what's really fun about our organization is that when we go out to the market like career fairs and different events, many still believe we only hire for pilots, flight attendants, like frontline workers. But I mean, we have many departments united together that make us who we are today, the biggest and best airline in aviation history. So if you see here, these are the many departments and careers you can have here at United. Trust and believe. If you have a skill set, whatever your background is, rest assured there's a department for you here. there's a career for you here at United as well, which is pretty unique for a company of this size at a global scale. So like on the corporate side, we have some cool departments like alliances, community affairs, procurement, sales, corporate real estate. DT you see here is actually IT in the real world, but here we call it DT as far as digital technology. And then some of our other great departments as well across corporate operations support, and then also our airport operations team as well. So again, if you're ever interested and want to learn more about United, rest assured there's a career for you here, and which we are global. Fun thing, a little quick fun fact is that we are headquartered in Chicago, Illinois, at Willis Tower. We do have several other hub locations that we do operate out of, and then we also are international in different locations too. So again, global company where we have many opportunities, but majority for our corporate opportunities, it'll be easily based here at Willis Tower. Now, as I move on, I'm going to quickly talk about breaking barriers from a teacher to leader in analytics. Going to pass the mic over to Sayba Katrina Russ and let her take over her and give you all a taste of her journey.
Yeah, thank you, Dom. My name's Sayba Katrina Russ. I've been with United for about 2 years now. So I'll talk to you a little bit about going from teacher to leader. So I'll start with my journey here in 2012 and at the bottom as an academic administrator. So my major in college was microbiology. And so I went on to become a science teacher after I graduated. So when I think back on that and the data piece now, there's always been some sort of like logical thinking that has always been part of my skills there. And so as a science teacher, I went on to work for one of the top 10 high schools in the city of Chicago. And I was one of the top performing teachers there. And the way that I was able to do that was through data. So I think I've always had kind of an interest in data. But that's looking at the data, seeing where the gaps were, seeing how I could drive results was always kind of ingrained. And that's kind of where that started. As leaders in the school saw the progress I was making, they wanted that progress to be replicated across the schools and then across the networks. And so from teacher, I stepped into a leadership position where I now managed math and science results and making sure that I was looking at the data, training people to look at the data, and then use that also to drive results for our network. And so with that, I was able to like lead teams to perform within 5% in the top 5% of the network. Personally, with all the dashboarding and tools that were being used, I got really interested in like what's happening behind these like bigger tools that are being used. And so I had gone to some boot camps and like played around with different coding languages and, you know, did some discovery work. And then I finally settled on like going to a boot camp and kind of honing in on one thing. So that led me to my certification that I earned. And then I started looking at, okay, I've been leading people, leading results. I now want to transition to the analytics piece and how do I create these tools that people can use to drive decision making. And so that led me into the director of data role with another charter network. And so you'll see from one transition to the other, I was still in the same sector. The director of data role was really important in terms of my career trajectory because it allowed me to learn and practice all of the technical skills that I needed. I understood the education sector, but I really needed to hone in on the technical skills. And so that piece of knowing the sector got me into the door, and then also being able to now use the technical skills that I learned from my certification to now build dashboards and data warehouses. And so this particular experience was impactful because I was able to build an entire library of data reporting tools that the senior leaders could use in order to make decisions. This is something they didn't have before until I got there. And then you fast forward to 2023. I got to United Airlines and was a senior analyst. And what I will say is the biggest leap from being director of data to senior analyst was those hard coding skills and being able to refine them in the previous role. And so this particular role, as one of the entry points, there is a entry level assessment that you had to take in terms of your coding abilities. And so that was one of those barriers that I had to break through in order to get this particular role. And so moving from senior analyst, I led 2 projects with our technical operations department. So that's, you can think of that as aircraft maintenance. I worked with inventory management on a project, leading that project. So, how do we get parts from point A to point B? And so, being lead on those projects along with the analytical skills really allowed me to gain the skills that I needed now to be in a data analytics manager position. And I'll stop there. You can go to the next slide. So what I think about like breaking barriers and things that in my early career allowed me to kind of hone in on those transferable skills. I think about the leadership in STEM that I had, and that allowed me to work with a diverse set of teams, which here in the airline industry, I'm working with a diverse set of teams now. And so that gave me that foundational skill set. And also being able to bring people up and bring people into the conversation of analytics, being able to communicate being able to communicate to like non-technical audience. That was very early on in my career in having those skills. And then I think about the data-driven piece, right? So working at these different education institutions that are accountable to the state and to the city about their outcomes. And so as senior leaders of an organization, they're constantly wanting to know where are gaps, where do we need to close them? And it's the same, it's a similar transferable skill when you think about the airline. What do we need to do in order to make sure that our parts are where they need to be, or that we can make sure that planes and passengers get on the plane on time? And so we do that all through data analysis. And so that foundational skill of data-driven decisions, even in the educational sector, was very transferable to looking at it from the airline perspective. And then I think about the utilization of like the analytical tools. And so just the ability to be able to take a data set and translate it into something that is consumable, or translate a data set into a tool that now makes someone's job a little bit easier to do. And so these tools not only supported like the leadership decisions, but also helped me be more proficient in my coding and my presentation skills and building tools that could impact the business. Next slide. So little tidbits. I know Dom's going to go into more of this, but just wanted to kind of hone in on like someone who's a non-traditional major who came from microbiology and now is doing data analytics for an airline. Like, how did this all come to be? So if you're looking to transfer into a tech role, I think there's two key pieces that you need to think about. In tech roles, there's a diverse array of transferable skills. So being able to connect your career goals are key. And so if you like being a people leader, like you can be a people leader and still do lead in analytics. And so being able to transfer those skills that say I've led a team and I know how to manage a team and get results, you can definitely transfer that to the tech industry. Um, the second piece that I think about is like the digital technology or tech industry covers such a wide range of technical skills. And so anytime someone says like, "Oh, I want to get into tech," I'm like, "Well, what do you want to do?" Because it's such a big industry. So it's important to identify your starting point, what you're good at, and you start there, and then you can build up to the next skill. But as you're looking to cross into it, I would not get overwhelmed with all of the different coding languages. Pick the thing that you're good at. If you want to design apps, then maybe you focus on your UX skill. If you like the data piece, you focus on your SQL skills, um, and go from there. So some things I just wanted to highlight is that just highlighting some of those competencies and certifications as you are trying to cross from one sector to the next. So for me, it was really important because I knew I liked data. The number one advice that I got from anybody I talked to was you need to learn SQL, you need to learn SQL, you need to learn SQL. And so I took that and I ran with it and made sure that I understood SQL and SQL is a coding language, that I understood SQL and that I could do the entry level work required for a data analyst role. And that's kind of the sector that I picked within the tech industry. And so at the bottom of the slide, I have like transferring like your skills like on a resume. So my first resume actually read establish data analytics tools and procedures to measure teacher performance. As you're looking to cross into different sectors and industries, you need to kind of understand what is the industry doing, because the first um, line here really kind of pigeonholes my skills to just like the education sector. It's not very transferable if you're trying to go into a different industry. And so I had to do a lot of work on my resume and a lot of thinking about what skills I have and how they could be transferred. So the second part that I came up with after working through my resume was build and maintain interactive dashboards that provided academic insight to guide strategic decision making for leadership. So really emphasizing not only that I built analytical tools, but who was using them and how did it impact the organization when they used them. I'll stop there. I know Dom's going to go into giving you some more tidbits about how to really transfer these skills and really create that robust resume. But these are just some of the tips that I would give to you as somebody who's trying to like coming from a non-traditional background.
Miss Saba Katrina, thank you for that overview of your career. I think that was great, and it's foundational. So thank you for that. I can't see the chat right now, but hopefully you're getting a bunch of thumbs up and hearts and hand claps. But no, thank you. But one question I have for you, right, just to give like a taste of United, like what has it been like for you at the organization, like your personal experience as far as working for an airline?
It's been great. And I would say the transition from the director role into United was that I was working with a very small team. And I think at United, there's people who are always willing to help and always willing to learn and grow and innovate. And so that has been really, really great experience in terms of transferring into United.
Nice.
In terms of, yeah, sorry. And then in terms of there's also opportunities to learn and grow. So the AWS Cloud Practitioner certification, that's actually a new certification that I just earned, and that's a result of being around, being in United, and people always just wanting to learn and grow. I think some people might have heard about like the AWS outage that happened earlier this week, and like the fact that I'm like in this space now with people who are like pushing to be better and do better. I was able to understand, because of this new certification, what needed to happen, how it was impacting the business, and I could inform all of my stakeholders about, if this outage would affect us or not. And so that has just been really, really great to work with people and know that everybody is kind of all in and innovative.
Sure. No, thank you. And it was definitely a hiccup for me to have yet received my Amazon packages. So yeah, it's been crazy. But no, again, outstanding career from your trajectory from starting as a teacher to now a leader in analytics. So thank you for sharing your story and being inspiring. But I would say this now, Saber Katrina's career is similar to all careers here at United. We really value transferable skills. You'll be amazed from those that worked on the front line who actually landed a role in corporate, or someone who probably worked in HR who's now leading a team in procurement. It happens nonstop every day because we really value the transferable skills, but more often we really value the soft skills, right? Like storytelling, transformation, strong leadership, being a player coach are things we do enjoy here at United. Now, as we transition to our next segment, which will be around the resume writer, right? So, like taking those skills and making sure how do you amplify it to be a top candidate and land yourself probably a role at United, right? Like, who wouldn't want to fly for free? But anywho, so as my time in talent acquisition and as a recruiter, the most frustrating thing as someone that's reviewing resumes every single day is not understanding what is your impact. Like, what do you like? What does this even mean? I get a resume, it's a bunch of words, and it's like it's not descriptive and telling me your value add, your impact, your significant highlights. And it's a quite a frustrating daily task I do every day. But hopefully this one you may already know these tips or best practices, but if you don't, hopefully it helps you to one help you construct a very compelling resume and be a standout candidate if it's not for your next career opportunity somewhere else or within your company or here at United Airlines. So starting with the resume writing mindset, like what is that? Like how do I get into the mindset? We're really just starting with the basics. So imagine you're going to a department store, let's just say Target, and you're buying a product. Well, there's many of the same product with different brands, but how do you choose the best product for you? Well, you look at the benefits of it, like, okay, do they have the right ingredients? What can it do for me? What are the pros and cons? Well, that is the same way leaders are reviewing resumes and reviewing candidates too, right? Like we have a huge market, a huge pool of talent, but how do we decide which one's the best fit? Like, what are the top skills? How does it benefit us? How does it solve our problems and close the gap that we have currently and help us transform? That is the resume writing mindset. And we have to ensure as we are constructing, developing our resumes, it speaks to our value add to where the impact we would bring to a team or to an organization. That is the goal. Um, the quick thing I want to talk about first, just to set the stage, are ATS scanners, applicant tracking systems, right? That is a huge component of how we assess and review resumes and filter out candidates, as you all may already know on the call. Now, with the ATS scanners, that's the first roadblock you will face before you are even in front of a hiring leader to be considered for an opportunity. Well, what we have to make sure is that we have a well-constructed resume. We know that some of the resume formats out there are not conducive or align well with certain ATS systems where your resume may just get kicked out based on just the format, right? So like as I will always say, which I'll cover in a second, is that having a very clean and well structured format is the best route to go. But yes, the ATS scanners now are getting more evolved and transformative and innovative where AI is starting to be adopted into our ATS platforms. Like here at United, we use Taleo and we also use Phenom and soon Workday in the future. When we are using those tools, we do leverage AI like a lot. And some of our ATSs do give each candidate a score, a candidate score. It can be A, B, C. I don't think we had touched D or those beyond that, but like definitely A, B, or C. And that's how well constructed your resume is, the format, and then the keywords in your resume, right? So the roles you are applying to, whether it's in a different industry or within your field, making sure you have the right keywords in your resume, which we'll talk about soon throughout this section. So to get past the ATS scanners, you need, again, just as I mentioned before, just the ATS friendly template and then the right keywords, which I'll just quickly cover now. So some of those things are just simple coloring, using common fonts, simple layouts, no weird graphics, and just, again, save your resume to a simple compatible format that's compatible with any ATS pretty much. That'll definitely benefit you as a candidate. I've seen some with like it was well designed, well put together with some creative flavor to it. But again, when you push that through an ATS, it won't feed through and pick up those keywords off of your resume, which meaning you're going into a black hole. So the one thing we don't want anyone to do is go into a black hole when applying for an opportunity. Now, the fun part is choosing the right resume that is ATS friendly. Like, which one is that? And now I'll quiz you all now. You don't have to, come off mute or say anything, but to yourself answer this question, which is the best resume for an ATS, right? We have 3 resumes here. My friend Ignacio, I'll probably butchered his name. Like, again, a good resume, right? To me, it demonstrates his skills, his value add, his creativeness, his innovation, and it looks good. Got his profile picture too, like great resume. And then we have Mira, where it's more creative, right? It's more detailed structure, her background, giving her a good overview, a QR code to learn more about her. It's nice, right? They look good, but ultimately they won't cut it when it comes to feeding through a resume. A good friend, Jana has the best resume structure as far as more of an ATS friendly format that is simple enough to feed through any ATS and making sure her resume get picked up to land her a job opportunity. That is the key. Now, keyword in your resume is also key as well, which we'll talk about really quick. As Katrina mentioned, some of the keywords we need to have in our resume is what we're going to look for. So as recruiters, if a hiring manager tell me looking for probably SQL, Power BI, whatever, that's probably the first thing I'm searching for in the ATS of those who have probably SQL or Power BI or any analytical tool within their resume. And those are resumes that will actually float to the top, which I will consider for an opportunity. That is the key thing we want to make sure we have is the right keywords in the resume to be filtered and selected for consideration for an opportunity. Now, the one thing, a fun tip to do this is leveraging ChatGPT. Like, who don't love ChatGPT and AI? That is the new wave and how we are leveraging the workforce and changing the game. So using ChatGPT, there's a prompt I found that was very useful, that was very creative. And to understand like the top skills of a job you're applying to, whether it's the job within your field or you jump into a new industry, how do I understand like the top skills that are needed to make myself a qualified and competitive candidate? Oh, just use this simple prompt right here and push it in ChatGPT. You can take that job description and just use this prompt and we'll pull out the top skills you need to know to ensure you can speak to or how well you match up to that job opportunity. That is the best practice to have. Now, when you do this exercise, the fun part about it is it will populate the top skills based on that job description, and you will understand how does your exact experience ties into the job you're applying for. And all you have to do is take those top skills, probably get an Excel sheet or a notebook, and then simply jot down. Let me see my next slide. Yeah, this is what you do. So basically, you jot down how have you used those skills in what roles, and then the story of when you use those skills. So think about the STAR method. So if it says like analytics or SQL or just being like, just being analytical, well, when have you used analytical skills, right? What roles did you use analytical skills? And then what was the story behind it? The STAR method, right? So we're speaking to the situation, task, action, results. And that's how you want to pretty much outline your skill set in alignment to each top skill for the job you're applying to. Easy practice, fun thing to do. Not only that, when you're doing this exercise, imagine when you go into an interview, when you're asked about certain experience around skill set, you know how to speak to it now in a very detailed way to show your impact, to show how you've driven change, and you can add value to an organization. game changer. Now, we'll transition to professional branding. This is like the meat of your resume, what helps you stand out as a top candidate. Now, just adding the Midas touch. Now, what all resumes I think would be beneficial to have is just again a professional title that really outlines your experience and who you are as a career professional. Your professional summary, which is like your mission statement. So, like every company has their mission statement, their value add, their impact, what they do. What is yours, right? So when we go on through this resume, what is your professional summary? What is your mission statement? Like what value add can you bring to a company? And then also amplifying your areas of expertise, like your skills, which you mentioned before. So this simple practice can be useful for whether it's again you're applying to a role within your field, or again using those transferable skills to another opportunity. As I move ahead, going to the professional title. So using the top 3 skills identified using, sorry, that's a typo there, Chat GPT. You want to use that as a descriptor to help elevate your skill set and who you are as a professional. So, like Jana here, HR strategist, Sharon practitioner, strategic leadership are the key things this person pulled from when they fed the job description through for an HR leadership role. You want to highlight that within your resume to demonstrate your value, your expertise, and what you can do for an organization. And then next is your value proposition, as I mentioned before, your mission statement, right? So this is a simple way to piece together your mission statement, which is all again driven through using ChatGPT to outline those top key skills. And you think about it, how you can drive impact or what have you done in relation to those skills. So a simple practice to do in that professional summary is simply your years of experience in the industry or relevant to that industry. Your best skills should be highlighted, and then your most significant highlights and commitment to the team. Anyone love a good team player, strong leader that's collaborative, and that gets along well with stakeholders. That is key for this exercise. Well, for this purpose as well too. And then the next section is simply around just the areas of expertise and skills. Again, amplifying those skills that you pull from ChatGPT. Fun fact, so United also has their own United GPT engine here that we actually use day to day. So again, it's a simple little typo. I want to make sure we use this as an external facing presentation today and not internal, but again, ChatGPT. But again, the exercise you did with ChatGPT, when you pulled those top 10 skills, you now understand again the skills that's relevant to your background, what to add to your resume to ensure your resume stands out as a top candidate and also be seen once it is going through the ATS. This is how you do it, a simple exercise and a simple practice. Now, here's a good part. So as during my time in executive recruitment, again, going through resumes, I spend more time going through resumes than not like doing like versus non-executive versus executive. Non-executive, I'll be transparent. If we have any other HR professionals, recruiters here, you can probably speak to it as well. I don't spend that much time looking at the resume, right? It's really based on keywords for non-executive roles. If the keywords aren't there, I'm not going to even look at your resume because again, we receive hundreds of applications. How do we, balance our time, like risk time management, to ensure we spot and identify the top talent quickly and get those over to the hiring, get those talent vetted and get them over to the hiring manager right away? How do we do that? But when it came to executive, to ensure we have the right leader in our roles for director levels and above that are transformational, that will bring impact and bring change to the organization, I really took my time to go through each resume to ensure they have the right experience we need. More times than not, it was resumes that I didn't understand. It didn't fully articulate your value, your experience, or your significant highlights in the role. It was very copy and paste. And the ones who were successful in landing jobs here, you're not even given an interview, had resume formats similar to this one right here. So simply when you are outlining your experience, you want to add context about the role. What was the scope? What was the function? What did you do? Give me some type of flow, some flavor of what you've done. And then you also want to use like action verbs as descriptors, right? So show like what transpired, how did you get into that position? Really is joined, recruited by, hired to, promoted to. Show that progression and show those action verbs to demonstrate how you join each company. And then secondly would be describe the size of the organization, type of organization, and list of responsibilities. This helps out significantly when we are reviewing resumes to pinpoint, your value add, how it relates to the role we're recruiting for, and what we're targeting. This is spot on for us. And then a quick example, like down below, as anybody can use and like kind of rinse and repeat. It's like, okay, I was promoted to lead a HR division for all HR functions for a 1,300 plus operation. That is something you can actually do within this practice here as well. And then your professional experience. This is the fun part. So I've always talked about the STAR method, which is really essential to highlighting your background and then your impact for each skill. Using those action verbs again, be specific, use quantifiable details and results. And this can be between 3 to 5 bullet points, very succinct. This again demonstrates your value add as a leader, as a strategic partner, and what you can bring to a team. As I would tell my team today, we are professional problem solvers, right? You don't benefit me by adding the problem, right? You benefit me by alleviating the problem. So again, this demonstrates how you are a problem solver, how you would bring the impact and add value to an organization based on your accomplishments. And another tidbit we'll talk about really quick is just simply just organizing your resume, right? So we talked about the format added the Midas touch for your professional branding. We talked about how to gather the right top skills to help you elevate and enhance your skill set to be considered for an opportunity. But how do you arrange and set up your resume? Simple, just the traditional arrangement, right? So professional branding, which is your career title, your professional summary, and then your skill set, and then it flows into your experience. So professional branding, experience, education, and then additional sections. What are those additional sections? Simply like, again, certifications, awards and recognitions, volunteer experience, technical proficiencies, languages, and publications and presentations, and so forth. So you keep it in that succinct format. I think it's a great thing, a great practice to have. And as anyone would say, as a rule of thumb, to have a resume that's at most 2 pages, keep it succinct and relevant to the job you're applying to. And if it's if it's a role where you're jumping to a new industry, making sure you are similar to what Sayba Katrina did, kind of like tweak your experience a bit to where it ties into show your full capability and your skill set in a transferable realm. That is the best practice to have. And then as you put it all together, it looks as clean as the resume we have right here. Again, simple, basic, but it works, right? It drives to the point. It's easy to understand your background, your skill set, and again, as I keep saying, what value you add to an organization. Again, we at United, I think we probably received, like last year, we hired probably 15,000 plus employees across like all divisions, corporate and frontline. The amount of applications we receive on a regular basis for a position is crazy, right? So we want to make sure the resumes we do get is easy to understand your background, your skill set, and your experience. Where again, it's not too jumbled. It's not too much like again needless words. Where if I don't understand it, I'm going to just pass it over and not consider you for the opportunity. So making sure it really speaks to who you are and your value and what you can bring to a company. And then that's it. So that was our quick overview. And if you are interested in an opportunity with United, we encourage you to visit our career site, or if you want to learn more and have a conversation with one of our recruiters, please scan the QR code, get in tune with United, and we would love to put you in place with our talent community too, so you can stay abreast of like new opportunities we have coming down the pipeline. I know we are approaching Q4. Typically, companies don't do much hiring in Q4, but we are in growing organization to be the best airline. So as we are expanding, opportunities do come up. And for whatever reason, closer to holidays, more opportunities pop up. So again, if you are interested, please scan the QR code to join our talent community, get in tune, and we would love to have you part of the organization. And then last slide, just saying thank you. We appreciate your participation and our partnership with HBCU Connect. Please connect with us on LinkedIn. We would love to connect with you, have one-on-one conversations. I'm available, but this again, just simply thank you. And hopefully you all found this session to be resourceful and found some gems to take away from it. Thank you.
Definitely with dropping gems. Both of you all. We appreciate you. Do you have time for Q&A?
Yes, we do.
All right, perfect. So I've been gathering some of the questions from the chat, but if anyone wants to use the raise hand feature and ask a question, I'll prioritize that. Eniola, did you want to go ahead and ask a question?
Yes. Hi, my name is Eniola. I'm a senior at Fisk University, and my major is business administration with a concentration in finance. So my question was if, because I'm an international student from Nigeria, does your company offer sponsorship for international students, especially at like beginner full-time roles?
Unfortunately, we do not, which is something we think we're working towards too for the future. But as of today, we do not sponsor, nor we will sponsor in the future. But it's conversation we've had behind the scenes on how we can, better support international students. But for today, no.
Okay,
Yeah,
thank you. Oh,
and to that point, the only we have like a PhD route that you could go. I was in the advanced analytics department, and so that's the only place where I've seen sponsorship is with PhD candidates, and that's kind of through the internship program, developing that connection, and then um, going from there. And so that's more operations research and data scientist research at the PhD level.
Excellent question. Answer that. Excellent answers. Okay, Erica, I saw you had your hand up.
Hello, yes, my name is Erica Baldwin. I am a graduate of Norfolk State University, and I recently received my Master's of Divinity from Wake Forest University. I'm just going to read my question that I put in the chat to make it a little bit easier. I am an advocate of ministry outside of the four walls of a church. I consider myself a public servant, but the state of the political climate has depleted these roles and/or cut funding. My question is, are there specific roles and/or skills that you've seen public servants thrive in corporate America?
In several positions here at United, like for us, we have our department called People Impact. We have Community Market Impact as well. Those teams definitely drive the same mission of the skill sets you have today. And then we have other groups where it really sits under our HR division pretty much. So it's like more HR related. Um, Even I've seen some talent transition over to learning and development, you know. And then again, like once you join a company like United, we're really big on our business resource groups where again, no matter your full-time job, our business resources do make a change here, make an impact at United. Like again, just having Saba Katrina here today is a big benefit to that, and it's a testament to that too. But yes, really, it gonna all pretty much like flood down to HR. Like it's all HR.
Some other places I'm thinking about is like the energy efficiency. So thinking about like how you want to make some of that social impact. There's also, our commitment to going carbon neutral, and so there's work streams there that you could work on as well.
Correct.
Thank you. That's really helpful.
Yeah, it was very definitely a very appropriate question. So thanks for that. Yassine, did you want to ask a question?
Yes, I did. Yeah, Yassine Ellison, Morehouse College, class of 21. Recently got my master's at Northeastern in data science. First and foremost, thank you to the both of you guys for taking the time and kind of putting this together. I did have a quick question specifically to you, Saba, Trita. So your journey from teaching into analytics kind of mirrors a lot of what earlier in career professionals experience in terms of just moving from a certain structure into that corporate ambiguity. And I'm just kind of curious how you kind of learn to navigate that while still maintaining that high level of impact within the specific field that you're in.
I think that one thing that kind of helped keep focus is that when I was in this my previous position, which is more aligned, I think, with your data science background, I was focused on particular projects and divisions in the business. So that kind of kept me grounded. And then as things are very like the movement and the ambiguity within the corporate space, what's really cool is being part of the business resource groups like Beacon, and really making connections outside of your day-to-day department to really understand the whole business. So there's different mentorship programs and things that you can join, and that kind of gave me a better understanding of the industry, because it's like I came in, they're like, okay, you can code, you can do this thing here, you're great, but like at some point you have to get from behind your desk and really truly embrace the industry and start to embrace um, the people in the industry and try to understand how it all works together. So as a science person to science person, you just you have to get out of your comfort zone and really go out and meet people and talk to people. And Beacon has been a really great resource for helping me understand the world outside of data at United Airlines.
Appreciate the question.
Awesome. Thank you.
All right. I have a couple more questions. I'm going to have to drop. So Dom and Saba Katrina, I don't know how much time you guys have, but Dom, I can make you the host. That way, when I drop, you guys can keep going if you have additional questions, but let me know.
Oh, I have a hard stop at 2, but I'm more than happy to keep it going for the next 10 minutes.
Okay, cool. So let me make you the host, Dom. 1 second. And I'm going to drop one question I pulled from the chat before I have to head out to the next session. But here it is. Okay. So that was for candidates with diverse experiences across industries. How can the additional sections of a resume, like volunteer work, certifications, or personal projects, be used strategically to tell a cohesive story rather than just listing accomplishments?
That's a good question. So with that, you want to amplify that the same way in the STAR method, right? The skills you don't have professionally, you do have through volunteerism and other aspects of like project related work. And that way you can amplify your understanding, your business knowledge, of how you can actually apply those skills to an opportunity. I think that is key. Um, Honestly, what's funny, many who have like joined the executive boards here on our BRGs had developed those type of skills like on a project-based volunteer work and actually landed like careers within those fields here at United. We had one person that worked as the treasury that ended up landing a role in procurement. One person that actually worked in forget what department, but they ended up landing like working for a network planning department. So it's like there's ways you can leverage that and amplify that when you are speaking to a recruiter or a hiring leader, right? Like yeah, I don't have direct experience, like career experience. However, in these volunteer aspects or projects I've done or groups or clubs, this is what I've done within the space using these exact skills. But again, it's always about using that STAR method, right? Like give the impact you provided using that skill to show your value add. And I hope that answered your question for you. Cool. Anyone else with a question?
I
Hey,
see
good,
2 hands. Yeah.
hey, how you guys doing? Good afternoon. I'm not gonna show my face. I'm a little under the weather. But my name is Tamarvis Brooks. I did ask previously about certification, cert earlier, and thank you for answering my question. But I just wanted to come back and I wanted to make sure because I have two different type of like resumes. And I know you spoke on about like the black hole. I have one that's more simple, like how we just went over and everything of that nature. But I also have one that's more extensive because I did work for Raytheon Technologies, and I have over like 3 years of experience, and I had a pretty major impact on saving like about $1.2 million while doing like certain reports. And so I don't want to make sure what I'm putting on the second resume is too much. So I just don't know how I could make sure I connect because I've applied to more than about 50 jobs with United. And I've always got the feedback of just saying that I have not been moved forward. So I just don't know kind of like where I'm at in a sense because it's one that I've done on my own. And it's also one that I've kind of done with a professional and things of that nature. So I'm just don't know if I'm in that black hole or not, like you spoke on earlier.
So really quick, I'm taking a note of your name. I want to look into this after the call.
No
But
problem.
real quick, so yes, you have two resumes, right? And you with a top competitor, by the way. So like we have plenty of folks from your company that works here at United today. And we always like poaching talent from that organization. Now, it's hard to say what would be the issue, but what I would say is this, right? You want to, as the simple format, just to highlight your experience again, a quick little snapshot of like what your role entailed in the function, right? Like what is support, like what group you supported and what was the impact and what was the size of the organization. And then following that, just your significant highlights in relation to the position you're applying to, like demonstrate your value add through your significant accomplishments. I think that is key.
Okay.
Because for me, like, so the one group I supported in executive recruitment was technology. Like the amount of resumes where it was like 2 to 3 pages long, but it was just a bunch of words. You didn't understand their impact or what scope or what projects they worked on, or what product they supported within their field. You get lost, right? Like just keeping it simple. And if you're having a hard time doing it, a good friend ChatGPT would definitely help out. I think when I was in your place before I joined United, trust and believe it took me quite some time to get here. But it changed once I changed the resume. Like once I reformatted my resume, made it more simpler and just concise. It changed everything for me, right? So like sometimes just being simple it wins, right? Like being simple wins the game. And then once you get in that interview, though, that's when you hit them. That's when you hit them with the 1-2 punch, right? Like to get that's when you come with the smoke. But for that, not the resume, just keep it clean.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Yeah. Is it Miriam?
To Marvis. Oh,
Yes, it's Miriam.
Cool.
Okay, so I have a question, and both of you should be able to give some feedback and input. I'm currently a teacher. I actually just left my teaching role, and I'm looking to transition back into the corporate workforce. I previously worked in corporate, went to teach, and now I'm trying to get back into the corporate, but it's like I'm hitting a brick wall. I reformat my resumes to fit each position that I'm applying for. You know, I've had success rate as a teacher, but it seems as if I'm not able to get through. I'm looking for learning and development roles more specifically. I actually do have a pending application with United that says under review still for a learning specialist. But like, are there key roles or a bridge role that I should be looking for to get into corporate again?
Question for you. More logistical. Where are you located? Like where are you based out of?
Houston.
Houston. And the role you applied to is based in Chicago?
No, it's in Houston.
It is, you're right. It is in Houston. I sit next to the hiring manager, by the way. How funny is that, Miriam? It is. So I know for most of our positions, especially like in learning and development, is one of our hottest departments here at United when it comes to the like external openings. It is a competitive market, right? And it's not to say you aren't a good fit or qualified. It is competitive. When we post a job to the job board, within 2 days we get hundreds of applications, hundreds, right, from like top talent. And then you have to consider as well, we do have internal talent, right, who can also be a good fit. So just being like transparent, like again, we're family now, Miriam, is that most times it's about just persistency and just being consistent. It's not you. Like you are the right fit and you can bring the impact to this organization. It's about just still trying. What I will recommend is that what I seen happen like nonstop is that leaders do respond back to LinkedIn messages. You will be amazed if your LinkedIn messages is short, if it's short and sweet and demonstrates your impact, and then it's a call to action like for a coffee chat. Leaders will respond or take that message and say, "Hey, Dom, so and so reached out to me. Can you have a conversation with them?" So it's really just like building your network through LinkedIn. Any like local career fairs will be, especially in Houston. So shameless plug. Next week is Afrotech. We will be there. We won't have a major presence, but we will be present in Afrotech. So if you see us, man, stop by and talk to us and have a conversation about really about expanding your network and amplifying your brand to our leaders here at United.
Thank you.
It took me some time, Miriam. I'll add this snippet. So I started at United subsidiary, United Ground Express, which again, their subsidiary. And I was applying to roles to United a lot and never got an interview. It's like I'm right next door, like let me in. They did it, right? It took persistence and it happened. Like once I got here, divine timing, the success I've had in 3 years is like quite remarkable. So I would say just keep your foot on the gas.
Okay. And are there any you being a recruiter, are there any things that you see that stand out on teacher resumes that, you know, filter through the ATS system to even be able to get an interview or even a recruiter to give you a call back?
Just driving to change the impact around just professional development, right? Whether from a teacher aspect or just in the corporate space, that drives a lot of value, right? So like showcasing that in the quantifiable results, that is key. But also again, like if you're able to, there are like my biggest thing is that just reaching out on LinkedIn. Like that sells the show. What I always say, do not like draft up long messages. Imagine a leader one day like had a long day of work reading through emails and meetings, whatever. I get this long message on LinkedIn. I want to read it, but I'm so busy I might not get back to it. You keep it short and sweet, get them like a little appetizer of your impact, what you can do. That drives the conversation, make them want to reach out and have a further talk with you too. So I would just say just keep to that process. But again, as far as like that background, it's just driving that professional development, like driving change, driving impact, and just helping like develop a workforce or a student in the educational format too.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thanks, Dom. I echo everything he said. It took me a while as well. So you just got to keep your foot on the gas.
For sure. Like took her a while. Look at second position already with United. Like it's not to say you're not the right person. It's just again, it's quite a lot of applications. And for anyone that's a student right now looking for internships, last year we received 40,000 applications. So as we would say, it is harder to get into one of our internships than it is to get into Harvard. Like again, it's not saying you're not a qualified fit. Again, it's very competitive, but when you do hear about United being at a nearby career fair or any other school, wherever you're at, make sure you pop up and stop by to build that connection and build your network with us as well. That also works too. Miss Shonda.
Hi, you all. Can you hear me okay? I have some internet connection challenges. Can you hear me okay?
Oh, you're good. I can hear you.
Okay. Thank you for your question, Miriam. I tagged you or commented. Okay, I commented in the chat, Miriam. I actually have an extensive corporate background, and actually, we're in the reverse scenarios. I'm looking to transition from corporate into the education space. So, one, I could be a resource for you, and so I just wanted to just mention that. And then, in addition to what both of you, Dom and Katrina, shared, it's really about building those authentic relationships, and also on LinkedIn, like following individuals strategically that are in the space that you're looking to move into. So I just wanted to just kind of just add to what you all were saying.
I echo that. Thank you, Shonda. I appreciate it.
You're welcome. Thank you.
I know we're 1 minute over time. I want to just say thank you all for today. Sayba, Katrina, thank you as well. Love your story. Definitely driven impact for United. And if you want to stay connected, learn more about United, and just like figure out like what is it about, like how do we fly for free? What is the experience like? Just connect with us on LinkedIn. More than happy to have conversations. And I'm really for about again helping us to elevate to excellence and have more seats at the table too. That's our plan as well. So if you can, definitely connect with us and reach out.
Yep, and Dom, Sayba, thank you guys for your partnership. We really appreciate working with United. Also, thank you for a tremendous session. I think it was super informative. Hopefully everyone got as much out of it as I did. And we have another session that's coming up. Actually, we're 2 minutes beyond that session. So for those of you guys who want to attend, yeah, definitely log off and look for a link to the next session in the VFairs app. So everyone have a great day. Thanks again.
Thank you.